Hi, I'm Bill Reed, and I'm with the Integrative Design Collaborative, Regenesis, and as John referred to, the Regenerative Communities Group. And we're a network of companies practicing sustainable, green, and we prefer moving into the world of regeneration. How do we actually create a new spirit in our culture that will actually take care of all the living systems that are part of our lives, and that we are part of their lives, working as a whole system. So right now we're in the city of New York, in the New York City, New York University Polytechnic Institute, where there's an incubator that Mayor Bloomberg has established, and we are meeting with the company called Ecological and talking with Brian about the idea of what it means to practice community. At least that's my interpretation of that. I love the football analogy in that it's an accessible point for many people that think community is just some place that we live, not something that we become and how we actually live our lives. And so the idea of, for me, of how we work right now, it's very fragmented, multiple pieces, and what I'm particularly thrilled about is the idea of communicating to people the benefit of what it means to function as a whole team. And to introduce that concept, I think the sports analogy is really useful. So I'm going to stop here because I'm kind of just...
No. Well, tell me, what was some of the strong points today that were sort of the wows for you as we discuss this sports complex?
Other than what John and Lauren talked about, I think the idea of really acknowledging what's in it for me is pretty important. The idea that I'm supposed to be peering at the camera, I guess.
Well, yeah, you're talking.
No, you are the camera. Right?
No, well, you just talk at me. You could talk to me.
I'll change.
No, that's right.
I've been staring at the camera.
Well, that's
so I guess I'll keep doing it then.
No.
Okay, so what's in it for me is really important to acknowledge. We're not here to tell people the way to think. We're here to help people, elicit from people what they really care about, what's core to their being. And with that power and that primal sourcing of their essence, if you will, we can establish a community and sports teams that actually have the power to change the world. So may sound a little over the top, but I think we really need to be working at the level of who we are internally, who we are in our deepest source of power.
Tell me about some of the projects that you've currently are working on or you've now been requested to take a look at.
Well, some of the interesting ones are we're looking at the entire city of Mexico City to help them understand and teach their planning structure how to think in a whole systems way. Another one is a new city in Saudi Arabia that purports to want to be regenerative. We'll see about that. But the most exciting one to date is one school district in California and maybe 9 others that actually see the idea of community and place as the source for education. And it's really in how we educate our children that we're going to establish the future. But what's really cool is that in educating our children, we're also educating ourselves. So the idea of working with the school system to transform education into curriculum that is based on their community, how life works in their community, how the ecosystem works, how the economy works, how the culture works. All the mathematics, physics, language courses, social studies courses can be grounded in what's meaningful to the kids and the adults. And so we look at it as a transformation of how education works. And this gets at the core of actually what I'm really interested in, and that is understanding what entry points are to think in terms of communities and whole systems. How do we get people to get excited about community for just talking about energy? Well, maybe it can work, but I think or water systems, or material systems, or pollution. But I think if we talk about education and the idea of functioning as a responsible, democratic governance and community, we actually have a shot at beginning to transform our communities into the way they need to be to work as an evolving, regenerative future.
And all based on region too. So you're going to have some projects in Arizona that are going to not look like anything that you'd have in Pennsylvania.
That is absolutely right.
And anything in Pennsylvania won't look like anything that you'd be in down in Miami.
That's right. Because
or going in Cleveland.
That's right, because social systems are different, the ecosystems are different. In fact, even just the way people think about each other are different in communities, and it's important to understand how that soup, if you will, those ingredients work together.
That creates a completely different design for each project.
That's right.
Okay, and so that's part of the thing we're gonna be focusing on in the sports complex, because each sports complex is gonna have a unique design into the ecological, is that the word you use?
Yep.
Ecological systems of the community.
Yep.
Which will be something that they understand, they're a part of, they can see, touch, and feel. And also it's part of the stuff that's gonna happen in the building, in the soil, and what that means, and the impact, and them participating in how to reduce the impact.
Yeah.
But also the knowledge of what's in fact going on, not just to the soil, right, to the water, to the air.
Right.
Okay.
All those basics, the basics of life, earth, wind, fire, and water. And those are really critical aspects. The health of the soil, the cleanliness of the air, the cleanliness of the water, and the sun give us the ability to have food.